Halted again, and this does look serious. Round the corner, 1-0.
On June the 12th, 2021, Christian Eriksen's collapse during Denmark's opening game at Euro 2020 shocked the world. But 1,100 days later, he scored for Denmark at Euro 2024. Let me explain what happened before, during and after Eriksen's incredible recovery, including all the things you won't have known about his story. Plus you'll hear from the man himself who, by his own admission, literally died on the football pitch, but came back to life. What does it take to survive a heart attack during a football match? It was June the 12th, 2021, Denmark's opening game at Euro 2020 against Finland. What started as a regular day on the pitch turned into a nightmare. After receiving the ball from a throw-in, Eriksen collapsed to the ground with nobody near him. After the initial moment of confusion, it quickly became clear that something was wrong. Very wrong. Eriksen wasn't moving. Denmark's captain, Simon Kjær, was one of the first to understand the situation's severity. He rushed to Eriksen's aid, made sure he didn't swallow his tongue, and made the life-saving decision to start performing CPR on his friend and teammate. As Kjær tended to Eriksen, a pair of brothers rushed onto the pitch. They were team and stadium doctors Morten and Anders Boesen. The defibrillator was produced quickly, and together with the heart massage, it revived Eriksen. He was gone, Morten said the following day. We started the resuscitation and we managed to do it. How close were we to losing him? I don't know. But we got him back, and after one shock, that's quite fast. Kjær and Thomas Delaney quickly gathered the other players to form a protective circle around Eriksen to give the medics a sense of calm as it was happening. But the players were clearly distraught. Kjær then rushed to the edge of the pitch where Kasper Schmeichel was attempting to comfort Eriksen's partner Sabrina, who had rushed onto the pitch and was understandably beside herself. This very moving image was captured as Kjær attempted to console her, and later he received universal praise for his heroics on that day. After receiving emergency treatment on the pitch for what felt like forever, Eriksen was taken to hospital. And then the waiting began. Danish and Finnish fans, they joined in to chant Eriksen's name in support. This went on for a while, but at 6:32, finally, confirmation that Eriksen was alive and stable in hospital was published by the Danish FA, and the relief was incredible. The result of the match? Denmark lost. No one cared. It seemed as if the world had witnessed the death of a great footballing talent. But thanks to the quick response of Kjær, the medical team, and the presence of a defibrillator, Eriksen was revived. And he said himself that his heart stopped for 5 minutes that day. He had stared death in the face and survived. Eriksen had a 6-day stay in hospital where he was implanted with a cardioverter defibrillator, which can shock his heart into action if the same thing happens again. Eriksen's life was saved, but his football career was in serious doubt. How do you get back to playing professional football when your heart requires a defibrillator? As if surviving a heart attack and going through recovery wasn't enough of a fight, Eriksen now faced a new challenge. His heart implant meant that he was no longer allowed to play in Italy, which ended his time with Inter as they released him so he could continue his career abroad. His determination to play again never wavered. Faced with uncertainty and a career in jeopardy, Eriksen didn't give up. He fought his way back, determined to return to the sport he loved. He started training with his former club Odense in Denmark, where he had played youth football, before he moved to Ajax at 18. And he gave a TV interview saying that his goal was to play in the World Cup in Qatar. He wanted to play. It's up to the manager to assess my level, but my heart is not an obstacle. And to achieve this goal, he started training with Ajax's reserves. Eventually, he moved to Brentford. And that return to professional football in the Premier League, it was an incredibly feel-good story, and everyone in the football world was over the moon for him, even an angry Brandon Williams. His time at Brentford was brief but successful. He quickly proved that he hadn't lost his touch, his vision, his passing, his quality on the ball. But even more impressively, between the date of Eriksen's debut and the end of the season, only Kevin De Bruyne and Martin Odegaard created more chances for him in the league. His performances at Brentford, where he was playing in a deeper position, it showed that there was still more of Eriksen that he could give to top-level football. And his successful stint at Brentford set the stage for the third and maybe final act of his career. What's more inspiring than scoring for your country after coming back from the dead? In the summer of 2022, Eriksen signed for United on a free transfer. Doing it for Brentford is one thing, but United is a different level. People had doubts if he could still be an important player for a team fighting for Europe, and could he prove his worth? Eriksen became an important player for United, who relied on him to control games and create from midfield. He started 18 of United's 20 games in the league in Europe prior to the Winter World Cup in Qatar. And there, he achieved the main goal he had when he returned to football. He was awarded a spot in Denmark's squad for the World Cup. It was very, very special, he said. The aim of my comeback was I want to be able to get myself involved at the World Cup, but obviously I didn't think at the time that I was going to be able to start and play as I was at the World Cup. Denmark were knocked out in the group stage, but Eriksen played every minute of all 3 games, and the story of his comeback will live on a lot longer than their early exit. But the fairy tale didn't end there. The next 18 months saw Eriksen win 2 trophies with Manchester United, the League Cup and the FA Cup. And when Euro 2024 came around, this time there was no question over whether he'd be a key player for Denmark. 3 years after his collapse, Eriksen was once again starting for Denmark in their opening game of a European tournament, the Euros. And what happened next was a moment of pure redemption and triumph. He scored the opening goal for Denmark, a moment that was both poignant and powerful. Eriksen's goal at Euro 2024 was more than just a goal. It was a powerful symbol of fortitude and unbreakable human spirit. And his journey from dying on the pitch back in 2020 when his heart stopped for 5 minutes to coming back and scoring the opening goal for his country at Euro 2024 is one of the most remarkable stories in all of sports. And his ability to overcome this immense challenge and return to football at the top as if nothing ever happened is as inspirational a story as you're ever likely to hear in football.